Welcome into Fantasy AI. Moving on. All right, back in the computer room. We're going to go over some fantasy rules, right? Fantasy rule number 1 of your fantasy draft. When you're drafting, this is the fantasy rule number 1. And that is you don't pick. All right, fantasy rule is not you don't pick. Let's get into this. First round snake draft, right? You know the players are probably going to be going. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, probably number 1. Bjorn Robinson, Brees Hall, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and maybe a surprise in there, Kyron Williams. Who knows? But anyway, we know these are going to be the first picks in the first round. Most likely. There might be a couple changes, but hey, so if you're the first pick, do you get to pick? Well, you're taking Christian McCaffrey. Consensus, people have been going to be arguing about this for 3 months before the draft, your draft actually happens, your fantasy draft. Who's number 1, who's number 2, who they would take. So odds are you got that first pick, you're taking Christian McCaffrey. You got that second pick. You know, that's where there's a little freedom here. I'm not saying you can pick one either direction. Like it might be Josh Allen next, right? Bjorn Robinson next. Third pick. So if you're the 5th pick, you don't get to choose Christian McCaffrey. You don't get to choose Bjorn Robinson, right? You don't pick if you're 5th pick. You don't until it's your turn, then you get to see. So is that what I'm talking about? You don't pick? Well, not exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Say that you like Najee Harris here, right? I love him. I think he's great. Look at this. He was 20th last year. They currently got him ranked 23rd. All right, you can see that. And he's got the easiest running back position schedule. All right, for the running backs, the easiest one is Pittsburgh. So we like us some Najee Harris, right? Got a quarterback upgrade. All right, Russell Wilson comes in, stabilized quarterback position there. Gonna have a better offense. Things are looking up. What about Jalen Warren, right? Well, look at that. He's got the same quarterback upgrade. He's got the same first easiest rushing schedule. He is underranked, right? He's ranked 33rd. He finished 29th last year. Najee Harris finished 20th, is ranked 23rd. They're both undervalued. All right, so we're going to take one of them. We want one. So we got to choose which one we like better, right? Which one of those are we going to take? And which one's that going to be? You know, we're trying to go over the stats, see which one's going to be better. You don't pick. That's the number 1 rule. The secret to fantasy football and winning, especially rule number 1 here, is you don't pick, right? If I make a decision on which one I like, but I could be wrong, right? I don't fantasy AI don't want to be wrong, right? So move on. Well, let's say this is the draft and this is how it's going. You can see there at number 22, Najee Harris there, or 23. Well, that's who we're wanting, right? So here he is. We want Najee Harris. We don't take him. What? There's 2 guys above him up there that haven't been taken, right? So after those 2 have been taken, then you take Najee, right? So you got to let the draft decide when you take him, who you take, and you're saying, well, wait a minute. What if I wait too long and I'm down on the end and they come back and he's gone by the time I get there, right? Well, same thing's going to happen here, right? We like Warren too, right? Well, hey, here's the draft. Do we take him? No, we don't take him yet. There's 3 people above him. So, those 2 are scratched off. We're down to where, hey, there's only Gus and we missed out on, had me waiting, and we missed out on Najee. So we're going to take Warren right here. Well, you can do it. You know what? Right here, if you really feel strongly about the Pittsburgh, you can take him with only 1 guy above him. You know, the best thing would be if you could really hold out and wait and get that guy as a bargain where they've been scratching those other people off and you can get him. And you came in here open. You'd have taken either one of those Pittsburgh running backs. That's the way to draft. The answer is you don't pick, right? The secret is other people pick your team, right? If you're doing it right, other people are picking your team. So we go into the draft. We know who we like, and we're not going to reach for them. We're not reaching. You use consensus rankings, right? When you take you, I'm going to give you my picks, Fantasy AI. You look at my picks. You value some other person's picks. You know who you like when you go into that draft. But you use it in front of you. You use the consensus rankings. Scratch them off. And matter of fact, if other people in there, you have 2 extra copies of that printed out, and if someone else forgot theirs, oh, I lost my rank. You give them the consensus rankings. Odds are they're going to be using the consensus rankings anyway. So we know which order these players are going in. Right? That helps us know when we have to take our player. So let the players fall to us is the key. We don't pick. Yeah, you just a little, hey, this is Guns of Will Sonnet. No brag, just fact. Right? Here's one of my leagues last year I won. I let the players come to me. They're highlighted blue because the rosters ain't been cleared. But I had James Cook. I didn't pay no 11th. I got him, I don't even know where, after 20. Rashard White, same way. Had him. Picked him, same method. Did I go into that draft thinking, oh, I know everything. I'm going to take me James Cook, Rashard White? No. They fell to me cheap. Had good. I liked them going in. Don't get me wrong. But I let them fall to me. I didn't jump out there and take them. Right? So that's the key. Right? So Fantasy Rule 1 is you don't pick. You let the players fall to you. You have a good idea who you want, but you let them fall to you. All right, the players are taking the field from the Fantasy AI Data Center. Subscribers look on. Looks like a lot of New England players taking the field. That would make sense because today we're looking at the New England fantasy roster. Who's on their team and who's fantasy viable for this year? Start off with Jaheim Bell. Second string tight end. Comes in not ranked. Probably will remain that way. But let's take a look. He's New England's final pick in this year's draft. Has Pat's catching ability. 6'2", 241 pounds, known as a tweener. You know, he's big enough to play. He's not big enough to play tight end, but he is, and not fast enough to play wide receiver. Kind of a tweener. All right? So he comes in as the 10th viable player and their second-ranked tight end. Next up is Javon Baker. He comes in as New England's third-ranked receiver. Selected him with 110th pick overall in this year's draft. Hoping he'll become a deep threat. In Van Pelt's he's offensive coordinator, expected to throw downfield more, as the percentage of throws, not throw more. Just might be taking deeper shots. All right. So obviously he has no points from last year. So moving on, Kevin Harris, the third-ranked running back on the team. All right. New offensive coordinator Van Pelt installed an offense in Cleveland that ranks second in designed run plays last season. All right, so they're running the ball a lot under him, right? He's currently the third option on the team. We got a little coach speak here. Kevin Harris has done a great job taking the stuff from the meetings onto the practice field. Ooh, little action there last year. Sorry, go back to that. He got chest in the game there a little bit at the end. You can see. Have 4.5 a game. More of a receiving back, it looks like. Well, he had some rushing. But, hey, third stringer, on New England on a bad team, so we're not really expecting him to make any noise this year. Jacoby Brissett comes in number 7. He's the backup. Well, hold on there. Jacoby Brissett took first reps at OTAs. Brissett and May will compete for the job in training camp. A lot of feeling is that Brissett will start the year and May will finish the year. So got in just a little last year, perennial backup in the league, but he comes in as the 7th most fantasy relevant for New England. How about Demario Douglas coming in at number 6? All right, let's see what he's got. I've used Douglas as their top slot receiver by what was going on in team drills. He was lining up first. So, dealt with some concussion issues last year. Is their top returning receiver with 560 yards. See what he did off and on throughout the whole year, but amassed 561 yards receiving. So you can see he finished 74th last year. Not ranked. It looks like none of the receivers are ranked on New England. So wide open there for any of them to come up and take that and grab a hold of that number one spot. All right. All right. Moving on. How about Polk? Comes in. I have him as the number one relevant fantasy receiver here. All right. They took him 37th pick in the draft. Second rounder there, right? 6'1", 203, kind of physical at the line of scrimmage. He's got every opportunity to grab a hold of that number one spot in New England. You know, what's he going to do with it if he does grab a hold of it? Well, obviously, no things from last year. But we could move on to the team and just see that, well, even though he's listed here second in depth, but look at that. Here's what's important is that team passing 28th from last year. Probably have a rookie quarterback, Drake May. How does that improve Polk here? But, hey, if someone's going to light a fire and be a lead receiver, it's not going to be this little bitty points you're seeing here under Douglas here. Just no. It'd be this Polk if we get any noise from the wide receiver position there in New England. So moving on. How about Hunter Henry? Now we're getting into some possible fantasy players you'll be using this year. Hunter Henry, tight end. Could be your backup tight end if you take backup tight ends. Signed a 3-year deal to stay with the Patriots. Was a team captain last year. Core contributor on offense, you think? There's his little points last year, missed the last 3 games. But, hey, 6 touchdowns last year, tight end. 5.6 points there. So, I mean, hey, it looks like he finished 15th tight end. So, hey, could be a backup tight end. I mean, not one of your star tight ends. But moving on to the number 3 fantasy noise this year from New England. Probably be the quarterback, Drake May. Probably won't get in right away. Number 3 pick in the draft. Shown and indicates the rookie he'll be ready to. Nothing has shown that May will be ready to start for them week 1. Some analysts have been saying. He's climbed his way into the number 2 spot. And and me and everyone knows he'll be the number 1 after they're eliminated from the playoffs. All right, and move on for next year. So, hey, late in the year, the reason I have him ranked above Brissett, because, hey, late in the year, if you're counting on Jacoby Brissett early in the year, you got problems. All right? Well, late in the year, this Drake May might get in, and he will, and he'll be playing, might score a little more. Anyway, moving on, Antonio Gibson comes in as the second most relevant player on New England. All right? Likely going to be a sharing situation in New England, the word is. Hey, New England made the Gibson signing a priority in free agency. Was what they were shooting for. Gibson averages 4.1 yards per carry in his career. Now that pales to Stevenson's 4.5, right? So, you see what he did last year? That was with Washington. Comes to New England. So, hey, we got him currently here in the second on the depth. He's ranked 46th. Came in 42nd last year. 20th position schedule. Hey, that's kind of tough on a team that's not going to be scoring a lot. Rookie quarterback mistakes. I don't know. He would be a certain reach, and then Ramondre. But all right, moving on. And the top obviously is going to be Ramondre Stevenson, ranked 20th right now. So he signed a 4-year extension for 36. Supposedly he was moving around a little bit in OTAs faster, looked lighter on his feet. Ankle injury slowed him last year. 4th-round pick, but he got paid. So we'll see here. Hey, he's averaged 9.1 in a game last year. So you can see he missed some of the end of the. Well, Ezekiel Elliott took over there at the end, but he averaged 9 points a game last year. So they were 26th in rushing. Now, how exactly the same argument goes for him as for Gibson. I don't think that there's just going to be enough offense generated on this team, especially with a rookie quarterback, Drake May, taking over once they're eliminated. So I just don't think it's warranted to give him the 20th ranking on a. I mean, I don't see anything there. So I think he's overvalued as the number 1 fantasy relevant player on New England. All right. Oh, fantasy AI. So if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit that like and or subscribe button, or both. That like or subscribe. All right. Oh, this is where I like to fill my shorts. Gonna fill my shorts. Warning, this is a wrap. Fantasy AI with New England's fantasy roster. Jaheim Bell comes in as the backup tight end, a rookie this year. Another rookie, Javon Baker, will probably be the 3rd-string wide receiver. Kevin Harris, 3rd-string running back, returning veteran. Jacoby Brissett will probably be the starting quarterback, but give way once the playoffs are out of hand. Demario Douglas comes in, top returning receiver with yardage. How about Polk? Going to be the most exciting receiver possibly there. Rookie coming in, 2nd rounder. Hunter Henry comes in ranked 18th, finished 15th, could be a backup tight end. Drake May comes in ranked 32nd, 3rd pick in the draft. He'll get in late in the year, you know he will. Antonio Gibson comes in as the 2nd running back, possible sharing going on. He's ranked 46th. Ramondre Stevenson ranked 20th. That might be a little too high on a team struggling for points. I just don't know how good they'll be.